constantly hear that we should stand up in the face of injustice. Sara El Yafi learned that from her grandfather, who was Prime Minister of Lebanon. Having completed her master's degree in public policy at Harvard, she returned to Beirut to challenge what she thought was an antiquated political system. This led her to be named one of the 100 influential Lebanese figures around the globe. Since 2012, she has been a political commentator, raising issues about the West and the Middle East. She once wrote to Harvard complaining that a Mediterranean food station was labeled Israeli meze instead. The post went viral and could not be ignored. Harvard issued an apology.
Surprising.
You see for the first time the
people.
power of a post.
Absolutely. To put it very simply, it's the power of somebody who speaks up. I don't think I said anything that was new. I said what almost in the entire Arab world and the Middle East believes. But it's because engagement is so discouraged by psychological barriers, by psychological impotence, telling you that your voice is not powerful and you are too small in this world against the tidal waves of all these big organizations and all these conspiracy theories, and who are you to believe? I'm not saying that's what I was told, that's what everybody's told.
Right.
And actually, when that menu came up, I asked a bunch of friends of mine from Harvard, and I said, are you guys going to do something? Because I had already graduated. And although they're extremely smart, extremely, engaged people, they're like, yeah, but they're not going to do anything about it. It's amazing how well entrenched it is in our psyche that you cannot do anything. It's the same with this country. When I talk about, my work, everyone's like, good luck, as if they're gonna let you do anything. I'm just like, when is the last time you met someone who tried to do something? Everyone doesn't try because
everybody thinks that nothing will amount to nothing.
And it's not people's fault because engagement is so discouraged. It's so, the way that the news relates politics, it's a spectator sport. All you can do from your living room is go, or frown, but there is no segue into, well, where does engagement come in?
A big issue that many people have argued for in this country, including yourself, is direct democracy, specifically in elections. And this was a big post because you suggested that presidential candidates come together, hold televised debates and discussions at various levels to introduce their own political, economic, and developmental policy plans. And I think most people read these things, and I'm sure you get this a lot. Well, Sara, the system is complex here. How feasible are these things? Isn't this idealistic? What do you say to them?
Wow, I have so many things to say to that. Direct democracy, meaning direct elections by the people. The people choose immediately who leads the nation for a short period of time. Progress is inevitable. Everybody always struts towards democracy. That is the way of the world. And if you take a look at the United Kingdom, their first Reform Act came through in 1832, whereby, landowners, rich landowners were able to vote. It took them an additional 96 years for everybody, rich and poor, landowners and not, women and men to be able to actually vote. France is less than 60 years into its 5th attempt at reforming a republic that they fought for via the independence of 1789. The United States got their independence. 96 years later, 750,000 people died for democracy in a civil war. It's amazing that people just assume it's, you have an idea of democracy, it's a bit difficult, that's not gonna happen. Let's just go and, sit in our corners and pout because we don't like the way of this country. And it's just like, everything starts with an idea. When you have a lot of people saying, I agree, I agree, I agree, eventually it becomes policy.
Right.
That's the way of the world. That's the story of democracy. Today we are still implementing the 1889 parliamentary constitutional laws of the Third Republic of France. They upgraded twice since then, the French.
Right.
We're still in the Third Republic of France. Now, of course, it serves some people. It serves our oligarchy. This is what it is. We have 6 main heads who decide the fate of this country. This is how it has been. That's fine. It's ebbs and flow for every nation in this world. After France claimed its independence, they had two empires. They weren't immediately democracy. It's okay. It's okay. But when you want to move forward, you can't move forward with a veil. Lift the veil, take a look, and be just like, actually, let's move in that direction. It's going to happen. By the way, it's definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Time. The waste crisis management problem really started in July 2015 when a notorious landfill, after 17 years of being overflown, finally, couldn't hold any more waste.
And the people couldn't take it.
And the people couldn't take it, and there were protests in the streets of Beirut. And you started working on waste-to-energy technology and kind of researching that 2 years prior to that in 2013. So tell me a little bit about how that could help this country.
Waste is a resource. Waste is not a curse. It's not something disgusting. Somebody once mentioned to me a sentence that stuck with me. They say, when you smell the smell of waste, it's actually the smell of money, because that's non-utilized money. And I mean money for the country, because when you buy a certain product, you pay for everything, but you only use a portion of it and then you throw the rest. But that is wealth in a way. It's just that it's not going to serve the purpose that you wanted when you bought it. But it can definitely serve another purpose, which is richness coming back to the communities. And many people do it through recycling, but recycling is very finite. People forget that recycling companies are for-profit companies. They have a board, they have investors, they need to give out dividends. They're not going to do something that's where they lose money. Composting in of itself, I know many people clamor for composting in this country, but we have extremely toxic vegetation sprayed with pesticides, and it's been contaminated. You cannot take that, put it back into the soil. So really the only way is waste to energy.
I mean, you went and you actually got to different government officials and told them this is something that we should do. What is their response when you explain to them, listen, this is a technology, we should be able to use it here?
The government took a decision in 2010 to do waste to energy, but they are doing a waste to energy that is extremely controversial. It's incineration. Incineration works very, very well in Northern European countries because they're the countries that invented it. And they have very strict environmental laws, and all the filters get replaced within a day because the manufacturer is literally down the road. Incineration was never able to be exported out of Northern Europe for a reason. It's very highly toxic. But the government took a decision to do incineration in Lebanon. And the main part of my battle has been to dissuade them from that. But you need to give an alternative, and the alternative is modern gasification that is clean and environmentally friendly and lucrative, profitable for the communities.
Well, what are they waiting for then here?
It's a political question, but it's also, unfortunately, we are not a country whose political class has strong responsiveness.
Which brings me to the first issue, right? People don't stand up, people don't speak up.
Because people are not engaged.
How do you get people engaged?
You need leadership. You need leadership to engage people, to inspire people. And when I say leadership, people need to reassess what leadership is. People always believe heroism is, and especially the way that it's been coined by the Western world, what hero comes to mean. A hero is not a chosen person. A hero is very much every single one of us. But that engagement is going to have to come through inspiration. Sometimes you can't auto-inspire. Hopefully you come across people who you read about, whose acts you like, and who suddenly help you get within the engagement. It's about mostly inspiration and about giving people the key. Because when you report something, you say, this is what happened 2 days ago. This injustice happened. And then you stop there, people are like, that sucks, but then what do I do? You just have to hand back even just the concept of a window, not even open, just the concept of a window, and be just like, that's where you knock. And honestly, it's the political system. That's where you knock. people are just like, yeah, but they don't listen and they're so corrupt. And it's true, very, very few people have tried. Beirut Madinati tried. Did you see the huge success of like a group that decided to mobilize within 2 months before the elections?
You don't know till you try is basically your motto.
100%. And
you gotta see.
You're not allowed to have an opinion until you try.
This is your grandfather.
So this is my paternal grandfather. This is the Prime Minister you were talking about. This is my dad. Always been a troublemaker in the funniest way possible.
Oh, so that's where you take it from?
Yeah.
Okay.
My mama. This is my mama.
It's a prominent family, and you said very, very proud of being able to
trace a lot of it, 2 centuries ago.
There's a lot of pressure to live up to your name.
No, I think
There is, Sarah.
I don't. No, because nobody has put that pressure on me except myself.
Yourself, yeah.
Yeah, it's literally nobody. We were raised in a household where nobody discussed politics ever. I did not know anything about the Arab-Israeli conflict until I picked up a book. I was 16 years old. I picked up a book. It's called The Arab-Israeli Conflict. This was me. What? Like, what? And then when I finished the book, I would go left and right and center to every adult. How are you accepting this? How do you accept this? And this was my first personal experience with voluntary disengagement.
Yeah.
Of being just like...
And political engagement of some sort, like political...
Political engagement for me, but their voluntary disengagement of being just like, this is...
Yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is. No, but also often like, yeah, it sucks. And you're just like, it sucks? Like, I am horrified. Every time I sat on a plane, I made sure that the person sitting next to me knew the entire history of the Arab-Israeli conflict.
Oh my God.
No matter who they were. I would just turn to them, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes into the flight. Where are you from? Yeah. I was like this missionary going around being just like, let me tell you the truth.
But you still are in a lot of ways, because now your missions is really, listen, we need to speak up. We need to talk about what's going on.
It was a feeling that I couldn't repress. It's like an instinct. It's not an outside-in approach where someone was just like, let me tell you what, the truth is, and you take this and go talk about it. As I said, literally nobody has told me.
I think it came to you, and then you just had to react. You just had to get up and do something.
And by the way, that was going to be it, whether I was 10, 16, 26, 56. If I had lived all these years not knowing, I think the moment where I would have come close to that reality, it was going to erupt for me. But it happened at 16.
We keep saying it over and over again, but only because we hope it comes true. That the key to solving our problems lies in young leaders speaking up, and especially stepping up for our nation and beyond.